In exactly 15 years since the United States began an operation it called Iraqi Freedom, commonly known as the Iraq War. What began as a promise to liberate a country from a dictator turned into years of conflicts across the region. Here's a reminder of how it all unfolded.
Less than a teaspoonful of dry anthrax in an envelope shut down the United States Senate. Iraq declared 8,500 liters
Well, one of the darkest
anthrax.
pages in the war is the exposure of the torture of Iraqi detainees at Abu Ghraib prison. The jail was originally used by Saddam Hussein for political prisoners, but after the US invasion in 2003, it did become a military prison for thousands of captured Iraqis. There, many of the Iraqis did suffer torture, sexual abuse, rape and humiliation. The horrific images of soldiers posing next to tormented prisoners shocked the world when they were released, leading to the convictions of 11 American soldiers. The story received a massive public outcry in the US. Well, RT has exclusively spoken to former Abu Ghraib prisoners who described their ordeal. A warning, though, you might find the following images disturbing.
When the Americans arrived with their tanks, we thought they would rid us of the harsh regime. Everyone would have their own house and car, just like in the wealthy Arab countries or in the West. But it turned out to be the opposite.
They would hang a prisoner on the metal door of the cell and subject him to electrocution or urination. They would stick a rifle into sensitive areas, or they would use a broken broomstick, causing internal bleeding. Prisoners would need surgery.
After I was released, whenever I saw Americans on the street, I would be terrified they would send me back to that place and torture me again. It still keeps me up at night remembering the torture. I hear the screams.
I still have nightmares and suffer physical and mental pain, as if it all happened yesterday. I work night and day to try to forget it. What we went through and what happened to Iraq was a terrible crime. It broke us. Even now I can't get inside a bathtub because it makes me think of waterboarding.
The time I spent in that prison felt like a lifetime. An hour of that pain, humiliation and injustice stays with you forever.
An Iraqi MP told us that they did first welcome the toppling of Saddam Hussein, but then the invasion brought one catastrophe after another.
It's a mixture feeling of happiness and joy, because that invasion removed Saddam Hussein from power and freed people. But on the other hand, what followed after the removal of the regime is a disaster after disaster. Because the American invasion immediately created an absolute vacuum in the security, in the economy, and in politics in Iraq. And transformed the country from absolute dictatorship to freedom without limits, freedom without responsibilities.